Can we talk about how dangerous Afterpay is? Don't remember when I first discovered it, but I realized it's on like Aritzia, it's on Sephora, can't remember what else. It's on a lot of stuff though, like a lot of websites will be like, or for interest-free payments of this amount with Afterpay. My little monkey brain is like, it's basically like it's free. I'm girl mathing it is what I'm doing.
I think that's the downfall of the younger generation. It's falling for the okie doke of thinking that something is free. Hello, everyone. I am your host, Breanna Rutter, to this video series called What's Going On in the World. For today's video, we are going to be watching some clips about people who have regrets with the buy now, pay later thing that's been popping, such as Klarna, Afterpay, so on and so forth. So let's see why people are using these buy now, pay later opportunities to go further into debt for things they probably don't necessarily need to purchase. So we're going to see what their regret stories are.
People don't understand about Klarna. This new form of microdebt has been packaged to us with pink branding and friendly wording, but let's call it what it is. It's debt. Around 42% of adults in the UK use a buy now, pay later service like Klarna. 63% of millennials are said to have used one, and 56% of Gen Z. So basically the majority of us. But people go into it thinking, I'll just pay the installments off, I won't accrue any interest. But that's not what the stats show. 41% of users pay late, which means they get hit with charges and interest rates. And the interest rate on Klarna is 21.9%.
What? Y'all are borrowing money with Klarna at a 21.9% interest rate? Let's just round it up and say 22% interest rate, okay? The average credit card interest rate is anywhere between 20 all the way up to, for some people with bad credit, about 30%. Y'all should not be borrowing money at those interest rates. You know how long it's going to take to pay that back. It's nearly impossible. It snowballs so quickly, especially the moment you miss a payment. Let me know down below. Are y'all using these buy now, pay later services? And what specifically are you using it for? Because in my mind, it doesn't make sense unless you have a real emergency that you're using it, because I can't justify that interest rate.
That's wild. However, we need to shift to a mentality of let's save before and buy later, rather than buy now, pay later, and pay interest.
Can we talk about how dangerous Afterpay is? Don't remember when I first discovered it, but I realized it's on like Aritzia, it's on Sephora, can't remember what else. It's on a lot of stuff though, like a lot of websites will be like, or for interest-free payments of this amount with Afterpay. My little monkey brain is like, it's basically like it's free. I'm girl mathing it is what I'm doing.
I think that's the downfall of the younger generation. It's falling for the okie doke of thinking that something is free. I understand that this economy is cooked and everything costs so much, but you snowball even further into debt when you're using these services like Afterpay to fund purchases that are not emergencies. That's the only way I can justify you guys using this. Ain't no such thing as free. Like they say, never take the free lunch. It always comes with something on the back end that's going to bite you in the butt. Because, honey, what are you using Afterpay for? Like, what justifies that high interest rate?
Being honest, I bought a Dyson Airwrap and I bought it with Afterpay because like $800, but it was 4 interest-free payments of just under $200. So I was like,
so she bought a hairstyling tool. I guess that's her emergency, y'all. She needed that Dyson Airwrap, okay? She needed to make sure she can do all in one with her hairstyling tool at once. Blow, dry, style, and curl her hair. And she put it on Afterpay. Let me know down below, what type of purchases are y'all putting on Afterpay? This is a judgment-free zone for now, okay? Because I want to hear what types of things are you guys buying to justify that interest rate with these buy now, pay later services.
like it's basically $200, which means it's basically free. I need to get it. And I do love it for that reason, because you just, you pay what you can now, and then you go to work and you pay your credit card and you pay some more. Like it works. It actually is great. I love it. But the amount I have bought that I should not have bought because of Afterpay is just wild. Like I'll make like an $800 Sephora order, but it's Afterpay, so it's not really $800. It's like $200 4 times. So really I'm saving money is what I'm doing.
How are you saving money if you still have to pay? You're just not paying in full in the moment. You're not necessarily saving any money. because you still owe that full $800, even though you were able to walk out of Sephora only spending $200. It's just 4 easy interest-free payments. That's the slippery slope. That's how they get you. And you're not going to be able to run and hide and not get your actual account garnished. Because when you sign up for these buy now, pay later services, oh, you're connecting your bank account. You're giving them permission to remove money as soon as you deposit it so you can pay them payments. You can't block them as a merchant and say that it's an illegitimate purchase because they're going to have the receipts to prove that you owe them money. So you ain't getting over on these afterpay services and companies. They're going to get theirs, and as soon as you miss a payment, that interest is going to eat you up.
Buy now, pay later services are a scam. Companies like Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm offer buy now, pay later options, meaning that instead of paying $40 for a hoodie, you can make 4 $10 payments. And these services are marketed like a budgeting tool. You can split payments into 4 easy installments, and you pay 0 interest. Sounds harmless, right? It's not. You're not budgeting, you're financing. Buy now, pay later is designed to make you spend money that you don't have. And when you go and start stacking multiple payments, it can be difficult to keep track of what you owe. That's why it's no surprise that 1/3 of people that have used buy now, pay later have been late on a payment. And the absolute worst part about buy now, pay later is that if you're late on a payment, you will get charged interest and fees despite the 0 interest claims.
That's how they get you. That's the real business model. It's banking on the fact that 30% of people who use buy now, pay later services are going to miss a payment. They're going to pay that interest rate. It's simple math, y'all. There ain't no getting out of it. Say, for instance, for easy math, you use $100 worth of value with Afterpay, Affirm, whatever services you use. Say you spend $100. If the interest rate is pretty much 20%, that means that when you miss a payment, now you owe $120, not just the original cost. Now add another 20% to that. You see how quickly that can snowball? And that's just you trying to spend exactly what you think you need. So unless it's for an emergency, I truly don't understand the need to use these buy now, pay later services, y'all.
So the long story short is be cautious of these buy now, pay later services.
Has anybody ever had somebody else create an Afterpay account in your name? If so, what did Afterpay do about it? My wife just had an Afterpay account set up in her name, and somebody purchased a PlayStation 5 off of it. And we call Afterpay, and Afterpay is so unhelpful. They can't tell me any information on the account because, of course, we didn't create the account. Somebody else did, a scammer from somewhere. It has all of our information besides the phone number is not our phone number. I don't know whose it is. And then it has a Visa, and the Visa doesn't have any of the numbers of our cards in it. So my question is, have you ever had this issue? And if so, what did Afterpay do to correct this issue?
The weird part is someone being able to basically use her identity to borrow money with Afterpay. The scary part is it doesn't take much information to open up a bank account. So anyone that's had access to her birth certificate at one point, her actual ID at any point, any copies of any information to prove where she lives, such as a utility bill, especially if her information was used to recently transact with any businesses, sometimes them employees behind the scenes be taking people's information and using it, in an immoral way. You just never know. And a lot of times, these banks, they know that as long as your credit card is not being compromised, they don't have to worry about paying you back. If your cash in your bank account is what's at risk, that's really not truly their problem. Yeah, they might lose a customer if they don't resolve it, but really it's when people actually steal your identity and use your credit when a bank really says, look, we got to get on top of this because they're actually taking money from us, not necessarily the customer. So I hope they can resolve this situation. But in the meantime, oh my goodness, if the bank doesn't get ahead of this, they may have to either close their account or they're going to have to do some type of investigation to press charges on the person that's committing fraud against them. So she's basically paying for a game system she ain't even got, can't use. Somebody else is enjoying using her account information to borrow money that I know they're not going to pay back.
Have to wait 21 days for an investigation, but there's a PlayStation 5 just floating around out there under our account, and I don't know what to do about it. It makes me so uneasy.
Connor is the next way y'all are going to jail. Did y'all learn nothing from the JP Morgan checking the ATM thing? Of course you didn't, because the government's so slow sending y'all to jail for the pandemic PPP scams that y'all just think y'all can get away with it. What have I always told y'all? One thing about those financial institutions, they gonna get you. They might get you now, they might get you later, but they gonna get you. Just because it goes out of the trendy daily news doesn't mean they stop. JP is still suing people for money and sending people to jail.
Y'all better pay back the money that y'all owe. It's really hard to justify to these institutions that you're going to need to default on money that you borrowed, knowing in the first place they approved you to be able to borrow said money. And y'all are running some type of scam ring with Klarna. Let me know down below what kind of wild scams you've heard when it came to these afterpay services. People are actually being super creative at committing crimes nowadays because they think they're not going to get caught. And people who did, get over in the government illegitimately use those PPP loans to fund their lifestyle. Oh, you're going to get got sooner or later. A lot of people are already getting criminally charged and going to jail for borrowing that money. So if you're trying to defraud Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm out of theirs, just know them institutions are going to come for you.
Never going to get up from under that. Uncle Sam has not forgotten about them PPP loans. Most people just don't realize that the IRS is so understaffed, they're going to come after you 5 to 10 years later when you think they didn't forgot about it.
Let me talk to you guys about the pipeline from layaway to pay later. And the scariest part about it is that it's really playing into overconsumption and just the debt that we have as Americans. So when you think about it, for those of you who don't know, layaway was when you went to a store, you picked out the things that you liked, you went to the back, you told them, I want to purchase these. I don't have all of the money to purchase them now, but I'm going to make payments on it until I am able to fully pay it off, and then you give me my stuff.
I remember when I was young, I'm talking about elementary age, layaway was the way. Especially if you grew up in poverty. I've had firsthand experience of growing up in poverty as a child. And everything you wanted was always in the future that you could get it. What was needed for us to receive those clothes and stuff, especially when going back to school. I used to see so many kids in my neighborhood getting into the store, shopping with carts full of things, and I just knew it was going on layaway. And 9 times out of 10, I just knew they weren't going to see them clothes leave that store. Let me know if y'all were growing up, did you rely on layaway to get the things that you needed? And how did that affect you, y'all? Because for me, I used to be so bummed, like, man, I really picked out some cute outfits and I'll never see them. I'll never be able to wear them because I got to wear some stuff from the thrift store. But you know what? Don't sleep on the thrift store, y'all. There's some good finds in there. You just got to have a little bit of taste to kind of put it together right.
Now we have pay later, such as Klarna, Affirm, etc., where it's like, hey, you can pay maybe 1/4 of what you have to pay for this, get all of these clothes, and then you just have to pay us off. The problem with this is that once you receive the item, once you get that gratification, your mind is not necessarily on, oh, I need to pay this off. Your mind goes on to the next thing. Because as Americans, as people now, with all of the technology that we have, our attention spans have shortened. We literally rely on not even just social media. We rely on technology for everything. Think about it. When's the last time you did long division? Back to the point. We have become a society that is so focused on instant gratification. Nobody wants to work for anything anymore.
The instant gratification part is true. The short attention span is true. But I highly doubt that people don't want to work hard for anything anymore. That's my hot take on the fact that it's not that people don't want to work hard. They don't want to work for nothing. It's not enough money that's being put in people's checks to justify the amount of work these jobs want them to do. People are only going to be motivated to work hard if they're being properly compensated for it. Very few people are actually being compensated for a livable wage. So if they can get something right now today with some type of afterpay situation, they're going to do it. It doesn't have much to do with attention span. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people can't really afford anything. So if they can right now have it for a fraction of the cost, they're going to take that deal every time, even though there's a hefty interest rate attached to that.
Talking with my partner the other day about how I can see trends resurfacing now. And like as an adult, I can see the progression of those trends from when I was younger. And all I hear is my mom in the back of my head when I was in middle school saying, that was popular when I was younger. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Of course it was. And one of the simplest trends I see all the time now resurfacing is putting things on layaway. But instead, we call it buy now, pay later. And, you know, like if you're utilizing this like too much and you're forgetting that you have these payments just building up, because there's a lot of different companies that do this and offer this service now. And I've definitely forgotten I had payments before. And like, thankfully, like a lot of them are really reliable. But I could easily see how this is putting way more people in debt than helping them financially. So
because the problem is, as soon as you use them buy now, pay later services to purchase said goods, it's out of sight, out of mind. Until they hit you with that withdrawal from your account, that's when you feel it. You're like, oh snap, I still got 3 more payments to make I forgot all about, and I don't have no money. A lot of times, just because you see the money in your account don't mean you have that money in your account. Because if you don't have at least a few bills on auto pay, or you don't know exactly what types of expenses are coming up, you're going to think you have enough money to spend on something and realize everybody's taking dibs on your account. And therein lies the inability for people to keep up with this form of credit. Because on top of having these Afterpay, Affirm, Klarna type payments, you also got your credit card payments. You also got rent. You also got your car payments to make. And then you got to purchase food, everything on top of that. So unless it's an emergency, I don't think y'all should be heavily relying on these buy now, pay later services. Okay, it's super predatory. It's the same thing as the layaway back in the day. It's just repackaged to be all cute and seemingly innocent when it's not.
this is tricky.
I had to have been hacked. $400 was taken out of my account for something called Klarna, and I don't know what Klarna is. From the victim statement, they said they received a notification at 3:12 saying that $400 was taken out for Klarna. You sit here and you call to figure out what exactly is going on. You're saying that you don't know what Klarna is. You're saying that you need your money back immediately. You have to pay your Klarna. Reach out to Klarna to see if they have any information. They say that there are 6 active payment plans that are going on. Not 1, but 6. One from Target for a PS5, one for a Dyson hairdryer, one from Shein, an active order for Foot Locker, as well as Uber Eats for $189. And the last one is from a furniture payment. You're saying the telephone number that's associated is the number that you had from 2 years ago. The email address, you said that it's blocked out. You don't have access to it. And you're saying that all of the Klarnas were within the last 24 hours. Klarna lets us know that there was an account that was set up, but it was set up on a previous device. You're saying that I did have that device a couple of years ago, but then I gave it to an ex-girlfriend.
The ex-girlfriend is taxing that tail. They must have broke up or something, because I think the ex-girlfriend is using possibly a phone that he gave her that's still previously linked to his account, and she's just racking up them afterpay payments like boom, boom. She buying a Dyson hair wrap, y'all. She like, my hair gonna look good post breakup. If that's the case, I don't know if they broke up or what, but at this point, homie is trying to figure out, how do I retroactively fix this situation, because I'm getting scammed by an ex. She is taking advantage of me. I didn't affirm these payments. I didn't say these payments were okay. But because they were done in his account with devices that were linked previously, and he didn't correct that situation, I doubt that there's very little he can do. This is worse than someone borrowing your Netflix, signing in with your password and watching stuff and buying stuff on there, okay? This ain't nothing compared to that. She is literally taking advantage of him with these payment situations, with this afterpay thing. Let me know down below, do y'all have some wild afterpay situations that you've either experienced or someone you know has? And in what circumstances would you use these buy now, pay later services? Because so many of us are at least 1 or 2 emergencies away from being on the streets, y'all. Like, bills are super tight, so I get the need to use these services. But to take advantage of someone else's account and spend on that dime, woo-wee. That is criminalistic. You're gonna get in trouble for that one.
Now that the ex-girlfriend that you gave his old device to opened up a Klarna account in your name, the girlfriend still had access to all the information that was on the phone. The phone is still listed under your name as well. But the delivery address of where all these items were being shipped to was to your ex-girlfriend. Did you really not know?
Right. He knew. As soon as he saw it happening, he knew he messed up. And he's trying to scramble and fix this situation. But sir, most likely you're probably gonna be responsible for it. Unless somehow, some way you can prove that she didn't have the permission to access and use your information to do so. If y'all enjoyed watching this video, check out my other videos here. Leave your comments down below on this topic. I want to know what are your thoughts are on these buy now, pay later services. If you want to know how you could be a YouTube content creator like myself, check out my course link in the description. I can't wait to see y'all in my next video. So subscribe and turn on notifications, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.